Hey everybody, it's your boy Dimebag. Sunday, me and True Powers Minds was on Truth Talk on 7 Mile Radio in Detroit, and here's that interview.
Here, you there, caller?
Yeah, hey, what's going on? This Dimebag. It's True Powers Minds.
What's going down, man? Dimebag, man. What's up, man?
What's up? How y'all brothers doing?
Talk Nation, man.
Oh man, we're
got Dimebag TV, man. What's going down? True with you?
Man, we're over here just trying to make this. Well, yeah, we're under assault. You know, we got we got the typical shit out this way, brother. You know, but Sunday morning. Yeah.
Man, so what's been going down in the St. Louis, man? Any action?
Same old craziness, pretty much. You know, there's an issue with the St. Louis City Circuit Attorney Office and the St. Louis Police Department. They got a blacklist, about 28 police officers. They got to throw out the cases, and they got to go back and probably got to throw out other cases with them that testified, because they don't know how to cooperate on their lives.
They know how to cooperate. Let's stop being naive here. You know, it's all part of the plan. What happened is one of the chinks in their little chain, their little armor, finally got exposed. And then now we can start justifying why we get so pissed off about their treatment towards us, because you see they're corrupt. Just like, what was that up in New York City, Precinct 75, with all those dirty cops back in the 70s? And look how many people was harmed, melanated people, because that was an attack on the hood, as it always has been, and probably, as long as we continue our present course, always will be.
Yeah, they've been shaking down a whole bunch of people up there in the city. So now they got...
Man, what's going on with that governor race? What is it, the governor race?
No,
well, our government...
the governor, he stepped down, but no, we ain't got the lieutenant governor stepped in until, I think it's like he gonna serve out the rest of Gretchen's term, and then he'll be up, then it'll be election, probably like 2 years. On that now, McCaskill and
he stepped down.
Huh?
So he stepped down. So he got about 2 years left.
Yeah. So the lieutenant governor, which is worse than Gretchen's was, but he, a more older guy. So you know how they know how to do that stuff a little more slicker.
Right.
So, right. But for us with the Senate race with McCaskill and Josh Howley guy, it's probably Howley's probably gonna win. So
okay, how is he? Is he
typical?
Like he just what?
Just a typical Republican whore, basically.
But Missouri does have a special brand. Don't forget they were border state during the Civil War days.
Yeah.
It's safe to say he has a certain agenda that. If that true agenda, the true evangelical agenda was fulfilled and realized in America, you may find that a lot of your civil liberties were turned the fuck back. We're turning back the clock. That's what Great Again's about. We have white-only deeds now, and that's just not Missouri. That's nationwide. We have redlining.
White-only what?
White-only deeds. That's homes, properties that can only be...
deeds.
Okay. And then we also have the Congress passed not that long ago that insurance companies can charge you more on premiums based upon if you live in a predominantly minority neighborhood and not based upon crime statistics, which goes back to the dirty cop thing. There's crime happening all out, but it's not being reported. And that will have a monetary effect on the citizens in said area. So we better get our heads out our asses. And, there's been guys like Mark from Anaheim and others, that have been trying to warn us. And now the time's up, guys. Think about this, all right, for those of you who are religious. The Bible says, the generation that sees Israel restored will not all perish before Jesus Christ apparently returns again. Now, that generation has been determined to be either 53 years or 72 years. We'll do the math. If it was 72 years, it'll be 2019 when all that's supposed to occur. Now, you can't deny a craziness and everything from global warming that people try to deny and say it's not real. Even though there is if you subscribe to science, there is scientific data that shows it is real. All right? But then you look at the political upheaval. We look at the psychological mindfuck that we all support the nation state of Israel. Why? Because those people were done wrong, and they need to have their land back. But most people in America, or, I'm not talking about black folks by no means, but a lot of Americans don't believe that the land back in South Africa should go to its native people. Why are the Jews so cool?
I want to touch on that a little bit, too, with the EFF, with Melina, man. That's going on right now. That,
beautiful human being.
He went against Trump, saying that he don't really give a damn about the backlash because, shit, South Africa has already been through all that. They've been through the murder and through the apartheid. They've been through all that. So what really can you put them through?
They're going through something right now that we're really not even talking about. Cape Town, water shortage. And that goes back to the climate change thing that we were talking about. See, all this political stuff, they keep you focused like a donkey on just the white farmers. But you know what? What good is a white farmer if you have no water to spray on the crops? No one's really even talking about that issue. So there's a lot of things happening in South Africa. The only reason why they're giving that land up, think about this. The only reason why they're moving out after, damn near 400 years of occupation is because the land has been used to fuck up. It's just done. And then when black folks get the land, then this Zimbabwe scenario plays out. They can use that as more talking points and selling points about how incapable black folks are managing things. That's what this game has always been about, perception. That's why, guys, always got to realize we have been propagandized. The thing that's wrong with America, straight up, and I'll say it like I've been saying for the past 12 years, we have too many isms here. You got an ism for everything. And that's the thing that's wrong. We're all individuals.
So do you think, with the South Africa thing, do you really think it's going to really pop off to where they're going to get this land back? I mean, they simply saying they're going to take it back. That's what Melina's saying. He's saying, like, shit, I don't give a fuck if y'all try to come with some world laws or some restrictions, whatever,
right.
Kind of restrictions they put upon the people for going against the grain, but he really ain't scared. And he's telling the people, don't try to turn back now, because now the South Africans is acting like they're scared. They like, hold up, we ain't think it's going to get this deep.
Because
you know what I'm saying? What did they thought what was going to happen?
Because, like, most people fail to underestimate white supremacy. It's not just a local phenomenon. Of course, it affects you locally because you're in a physical body, but it's a global thing. You think that one white nation is going to let this other one go down? It's sort of like the conservative forces were gathering. And we should have seen it back in the early 2000s when the teens, when Merkel was going through all that nonsense. The far right kept on, she's incompetent. Look how all these immigrants are bombing us and stuff. This is all a concerted attack. Now, right now, we're going to talk about South Africa. South Africa, as far as some sort of white genocide and black men and women and children with knives just going nuts, killing people. No, that is absolutely never going to happen. It's complete rubbish. It's lies, and it's talking points that far-right people use on ignorant people who do not research these topics. They do not know the geopolitical situation of the very country we're talking about, and they're just seeing a 15-second soundbite by someone they semi-trust. And they look at black folks' behavior in America and just the stuff on the media, not really knowing any of us on a personal level, but just the guy down in Dallas, for instance. We don't know that brother, but we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt because we know that, he was trying to do a couple of things. But there's probably right-wing people right now talking all craziness about this guy. So we got to understand there is a political machine that is focused on you, the black individual, and the black nation. The EFF, what they're trying to do, like any rational individual would do, is trying to secure the future of themselves and their lineage and their DNA offspring. There's nothing wrong with it. Europeans been doing it for years, and to allow the world's detriment, the way they applied it, unfortunately.
But at this moment, they're a little bit more in panic mode because nobody talks about the amount of life that's lost from the opioid plague. And a lot of these a lot of white males also in this country are, and they're not talking about this too, they're sterile. So they're in a panic mode all across the Western hemisphere because they can't reproduce new babies. Not more than what's dying off.
To that South Africa, they're letting you know that they're willing to back up. Look, Australia has a history. If you're a brown person, you try to get into Australia, you're going to end up on one of their islands on the outside of their country, right? And there's been abuse documented in these islands and all that. But yet, now Australia said, hey, if you're a white, Afrikaner, you're welcome to come on into our country. I'm shocked Trump, the only reason why Trump's not saying it is because he knows kind of backlash he would get. Here we have Mexicans that want to come to pick, and do things. And I always go to the picking, the agricultural side of it. I know they do a bunch of other jobs as well. And they do a lot of jobs that has impacted natural-born Americans, carpentry jobs and things like that. But we need someone out there picking our food, or else we are going to have a famine within about 18 months.
So let's talk about, too, this opioid thing. The death of Mac Miller or something?
Yeah.
Mac Miller. It seems like to me it's worse than the crack era.
It is worse
right now because now it's not just touching the inner city.
Yeah, it's not even close to the crack era.
Like these opiates is so easy to get, and it's killing some top people. You know what I'm saying right now off these pills, the syrup, and all this shit. Like. This shit is out of control right now, and especially for white America, it's devastating because shit, you got rich kids dying, you got the whole state of Vermont, not the whole state, like what is it? 60% of the state of Vermont has either had some type of overdose or experience with heroin.
Yeah,
over 60%. Don't
forget,
like over half the state.
Don't forget Connecticut.
Vermont is like the most heroin state in America right now. And they don't even put that on the news.
See what it is.
No, you know what I'm saying?
And another thing too, with fentanyl is playing a huge role in a lot of these overdoses too. Is fentanyl because it's a cheaper form of heroin, but it's like 10, 20 times more potent. You can die from this stuff just by even touching it.
Well, did you hear about?
And let's hit that fentanyl thing. I don't mean cut you off, but let's hit that fentanyl thing real quick.
Into the system, into the what do you call that? The air duct system, and it killed like so many people. When I went down to Ohio last week, that was a big thing on the news. And I forgot, like somebody hooked up some fentanyl to the air ducts and it spread all the fentanyl through the facility.
But where does fentanyl come from?
Correctional officers, inmates. But to me, that sounded like some type of experiment.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because how can they get an Ohio correction?
No, what it is?
In the jail. You're talking about jail? They put that in a jail?
They hooked up some fentanyl to their air duct system, and it's huge. They're trying to figure out how this happened. But to me, I'm figuring out how can some inmates even get to the air duct system.
That's a test.
Have enough fentanyl to go through a whole facility.
That's a test.
I don't understand. How the fuck did you get that much fentanyl? And then they blamed it on the inmates, but that sounds like an experiment.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
because you only get that.
Once the law is for black people, I don't know about how it is for Caucasians. Once you go to jail, you're no longer a citizen.
Right.
You're up under, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're back in the slave, and that's what.
It's not like you are a slave.
You are a slave.
It's not like, brother.
They're able to do whatever the fuck they want to do. That's where processed food got their debut at, is inside prison. And what do? The effects of it, like you in a 20-year prison. What is this chicken patty gonna do to you in 20 years?
Oh, damn.
You know what I'm saying? That's where they tested out a lot of processed food, was in prison.
Dipack juice.
Dipack juices, which is now our 99-cent juices in the stores, the big gallons. You know.
But see but what you're still talking about, bro, and the root of all of this, once again, who's the scientist that's thinking of, hey, let's try to, work out this, situation on these people. You know who it is. It's the descendants of those who came from Germany after World War II, Operation Paperclip. When you dig into all the little conspiracies, at the end of it, where did all these conspiracy leads to? An enforcement of white supremacy.
Right.
So now, that being said, brother, we are all prisoners of war.
The black community is hurting the white class too, because look at the opiates. Like I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? It's not really affecting us, it's affecting them. It's affecting them on a larger scale than it is us.
But they got something coming for us. It's called Flocka. All right? It's hitting South Beach. All right? And this is coming from China as well. Flocka comes from China.
The Flocka?
And fentanyl comes from China. All right? China, and let's not get this confused or misconstrued. Let's get this out in the open right now. The Chinese, some of them are far more racist as far as the way they view us as any white nationalist you will ever come across. They have a very low opinion of us. And the Koreans, their cousins, we all know about that and the hair situation. So let's not get it twisted. We better get on page with South Africa. We better get on page with all the issues that affect us as a group. But we still need to individually try to work to ensure that whatever we're doing is constructive towards our group effort. However you're doing it in music or in poetry or in whatever you're doing, making sure you just think, is this going to be constructive for us as a group?
Because see, with the opioids, what was going on with that is you had these, I know in Missouri, I don't know about anywhere else, but you had these pill mills. And see, what they were doing was they were actually, they were discriminating against black people on the amount of pills they were giving out. So that actually kind of saved black people to where they were overprescribed for that stuff for white people, and it got them hooked. In which I look at that, in that situation, as a good thing. Them discriminating against us actually saved us from going through another epidemic just coming off of the crack era. But they did that in Missouri. They would overprescribe these white people those opioids, and next thing you know, now we live in zombie land.
Because some of these so-called doctors really believe black folks have a higher pain tolerance. They say that as an excuse. But it's just hatefulness. They want to see you hurt. They don't want to see a smile on your face. They want to be like coming out their house, whistling and seeing you just all droopy or sad and shit. And that makes them happy.
Yeah, speak up a little louder on the phone right now. We're getting like a fact.
Can you,
if you could.
Can you hear us now?
Yep. There
okay.
You go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another thing I just want to touch on, but the fentanyl, you just got to be careful. They even putting that stuff on marijuana.
Yeah.
They putting that stuff on a whole bunch of stuff, and it's very highly can kill you. Just, you don't have to smoke it or however they do it. Just touching it, it will kill you.
I mean, sis, I just want to segue, man. Just be careful. If you're out there doing the street drugs, I don't want to, judge you or nothing, but there's a lot of shit out there that they didn't have back in the 90s. They didn't have back in the 80s, 70s, blah, blah, blah. This shit will kill your ass, kids.
Well, I think they have found some fentanyl actually in some food, too, and some food ingredients.
Yeah, well, think about it. The little
they find and they cut on different shit or a lot of shit, kind of like that Monsanto, with my man getting that big, huge lawsuit from spraying that
Roundup.
The shit that was put into that.
The garden spray.
Yeah, fucked them up, man.
But you know what?
Spraying it every day or once, twice a week, and that's the same weed killer we use.
Brother Judah, but it's deeper than that.
Yeah, all that.
It's deeper than that, brother. You and your family go to these parks. You go to these government buildings. You go to these facilities that are being sprayed on the sidewalk so that you don't see no weeds. Well, your little babies are walking in it. If they fall, their hands touch it. Their hand goes to their mouth. Guess what? It's in their body. And guess what? When you feed them that Wheaties that the illegal have picked, the wheat and shit, all that shit still has it in there. So it's in your food. It's in your body. Don't worry about the vaccine giving you cancer. Monsanto already took care of that.
Yeah, it's in your teeth.
I heard they got something like 800 lawsuits after this one. I think they got to give my man something like, what, 200-300 million?
Yeah.
And then after that, they got 800 and some lawsuits on their death.
Yeah, because if you got on a cotton T-shirt, that cotton is probably made from GMO cotton, which has the glyphosate in the seed.
Right.
So that glyphosate is in the cotton, which you put that shirt on, gets into the pores of your skin, and that's into your bloodstream. Everything, glyphosate is in everything we use, touch, drink, smell. everything.
And let's
It's
really put that in
everywhere.
perspective. Let's say you're homeless or whatever, and you're in a rural area. Oh, I'm gonna sneak over here and steal some of this GMO corn. You're eating the pesticide because I think they have to take it through some sort of process to decontaminate it somewhat. Because, like you said, it's in the fruit, it's in the vegetable. All right, and that's what's supposed to be killing the pests. But you know what? At the end of the day,
So,
folks, we're the
what are we
pests.
supposed to do if we living right now, and it seems like we living in a radioactive world.
We are.
Yeah, you
You know
got
what I'm saying?
Fukushima.
You got these phone
If you
towers
kill it-
everywhere. I'm looking up. I was driving to work last week. They got a phone tower posed as a goddamn tree in West Bloomfield.
They don't want you. They don't want you to get scared.
Camouflage towers. If they not
They don't want you to get scared that they're frying you, because you know about that new phone, the G5 phone is based upon microwave technology. So come on guys, we know if we put a bag of popcorn in a microwave,
And
hit
that's
the
that
button.
G5 I was telling you, we was talking about that shows ago. G5, when that's coming out, that's why they putting up all these new towers.
Yes.
Also, they got right here on Grand River in Detroit, we got a brand new school. I think it's Grand River something, not Academy something. But in their parking lot, they have one of the biggest cell phone towers I have seen inside their parking lot.
In the parking lot.
In the elementary and middle school.
Oh, no way.
Inside their parking lot. It's on Grand River and 6 Mile. In their parking lot, brand new. Me and my wife was looking at it, and I was like, damn, why would they put that shit in that close to a school? But I did my research, man. They getting radioactive like a motherfucker. Plus the Wi-Fi and all that inside the school, the whole nine. But this is in their parking lot. They have a bigger one. Like it looks like a space station.
Now, was
Space
that
station,
predominantly
man.
black school?
In their parking lot of their school.
Wow.
And so, you know what I'm saying, us black people, we got all these, we said, yeah, we got bad cell phone reception, but, they put that shit in our neighborhood. I think I checked my neighborhood, they got something like 100 and something towers just in one circle area in like 4 miles or some shit.
Yeah, they'll
4
put.
mile radius is like 100 or 200 cell phone towers
I had
radiating the neighborhood.
I had seen a story out of Detroit about the schools, the Detroit city schools, about with the water. There's some of the
laying in
schools.
the water. Okay.
There's some.
Yeah. I mean, that's typical because you got to understand, Detroit hasn't been repiped out in 50, 60 years, probably longer than that, 100 years or some shit.
Right.
They haven't replaced these pipes, and that's not just Detroit. It's in a lot of these historical cities, like Boston, Chicago, Philly, even probably St. Louis, where that was built way back in the day and piped out back then.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these cities is now asbestos and all this lead is being exposed because they rebuilding and redoing these cities, and they contaminating these pipes, touching these pipes that's stirring up all this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
These pipes, man, up under these cities, man, is shit 100 and something years old, 200 years old, man.
Yeah, but a lot of that also, brother,
They got using bottled waters. They shipping in bottled waters.
but that's no good neither, because you're getting the chemical residue off the plastic manufacturing process. Look, guys, there's a spiritual component that most shows never talk about. On my show, coming up in the next month, I'm going to start plugging the spiritual component. We're at the 6,000 year. A lot of people don't understand what that really means. That's why everything's in acceleration. We're getting all these hurricanes, all these earthquakes, all these sightings, disclosure of UFOs and all this crazy shit. Just follow me on YouTube, True Power is Mine, on YouTube. The Other Morning Show, Dimebag TV, Random BS, Special Report. We're coming out with series of shows to break this stuff down, because the things we're talking about, even like South Africa, because there was something that Julius has said. He said that he doesn't care about Donald Trump, and I'm paraphrasing this, in America's ideals, because they know that they're killing black folks over here, and they do nothing about the black genocide happening in America. Now, that makes, you got to understand what he's truly saying. The world knows we dying over here in droves. The world knows we're being oppressed, but yet no one really going to do anything for us. You know, it's like Dick Gregory said, you know, every other people, someone came in and rescued them and took them back home and cleaned them up. You know, that's what the nation tried to do, clean us up. That's what other organizations try to do, is clean us up spiritually. But until we get that mess cleaned up off of us, the residue, a degradation of oppression and slavery and some oppression that we're still going through, we can never be righteous. We can never be right.
Well,
I
just seen a story about I think the lady from Friday, by Felicia, is came back to her neighborhood in Compton and was selling vegan food because in a 5-mile radius or some shit is no vegetable stores, no fruit stores.
Wow.
In a 5-mile radius, and I can look in some areas in Detroit where it's only fish, chicken, and restaurants. And you know what I'm saying? And if we do have a vegetable option, it's coming from people that don't give a damn about it. So you're not gonna really get the best selection. You know what I'm saying? So I always tell people that's in urban neighborhoods, if you can afford to, and if you got vehicles, travel outside your zone.
Yeah. Right. Don't be scared.
Them that way. Get your fresh veggies and other options and shit. Because if you shop within your neighborhood or eat within your neighborhood, 9 times out of 10 you're unhealthy in an urban neighborhood.
Right. And another thing people can do too, when you speak about everything, you can grow a lot of your own fruits and vegetables too. Even in the urban setting, there's many different techniques you can use to grow your own food, and it'll cost you.
My wife, you can also say too, but you know, what you gonna get around from all these chemtrails then falling on your lettuce and shit? Because Detroit, we wake up getting sprayed every night. I can wake up and people be pissed off in Detroit just for no reason.
Well,
that comes from a lot of chemicals and all that shit in the air that's falling on your fruits and your vegetables too.
And it's falling in your water as well, because all your reservoirs are open to the air. All your reservoirs. So you got the lead in the water, you got the chemtrail juice in your water, and God knows what other chemical X they place in it. So you're a test and you're a petri dish. It's not Detroit, it's a petri dish. Because you're a science experiment. You already been written off. You really have, folks. Until we come together and get this in our fucking heads, it's going to be, and we're all going to die. I mean, I know we're going to die anyhow, naturally, you know, whatever, but we're going to be helped along the way. Scientifically, systematically. Because these brothers are talking about other cities are having the same fucking layout. You know, if you're in the black community, there is no fresh food. You're going to eat some processed food, just like the prison, remember? The chicken patty. Yeah. Let's see how long it takes to kill a motherfucker. Yeah. Whether they always say it's tested on us.
Yeah. They tested all this out in prison. They see how long can you last in prison with, you know, eating so much fruit a week. How much vegetables do we got to get them before they start getting sick? They sit back and they watch you like guinea pigs in these prisons. That's why they can't wait till we get inside these prisons. Because, you know what I'm saying, we have no right, really, in a prison, every melanated. You have no right, so you can get all these companies. You know, that's where they tested out Pink Slime at. Same shit that they put into White Castle Burgers and shit. I call it cut on dope. You know what I'm saying? If I got a bunch of meat, okay, put the cut on it. You know what I'm saying? That's all Pink Slime is.
Yeah, they use it in chicken.
Yeah, we're going to break it down.
Yeah, that's
It's a pretty crazy situation we find ourselves here in 2018.
But it's only crazy by design. I will always press that. It's all this is always by design. Nothing happens by chance.
Yeah. They pretty much want it done.
Yeah. Until we come together and come up with a plan, you know, get your little bug out bags together. For those who don't know about bug out bags, you know, once again, come to the channel. We got videos about it, what you need to have in these bags for both urban, rural, and suburb application. Each zones, you're going to need different things to get through.
Try to get to the mountains, too, if people can't get up there. So.
Yeah, but shit, you know, being from Detroit, shit, we far away from the mountains, shit. We dealing with, and we got hills and shit, but it ain't that far out.
Yeah.
You know, so we basically stuck in if you look at the map of Detroit, we basically stuck in backed into a corner. We're surrounded by so much water and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if they ever wanted to cut Detroit off, and that goes for a lot of urban cities that's set up that way, to where they can just block it off. Right. That's why the freeways run up and down your shit. So if they really want to shut down the city, they can shut down. But Detroit will be a city to where, if you look at the map, it's stuck in like a corner. You know what I'm saying? It's backed up into a corner against some water. So, you know what I'm saying? If someone else was to break out and they were to shut this little corner off.
Take the bridge out.
Yeah, to take the bridge out and set up a little blockade in the water and all that shit, there's really nowhere we can go.
Well, brothers, on the real,
that's fact.
Do you have any boating experience? You know, have any of y'all brothers ever?
No, but I'm saying if you got any boating experience, they going to put up a blockade. You know, they're going to block that off. Because, you know, the Great Lakes, if you look at the Great Lakes, is only one way in. There's only one way in. They can really shut you down. They can really cut it off. It's not that wide. You got a narrow spot where they can shut it down. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like it has. I think you got some parts between Detroit and Canada is like what, a mile or two. Oh yeah. So you know that they can really shut that down. Then you can only enter coming in through Ohio. You know what I'm saying? They can really cut it off if they wanted to. That's what I'm saying. I always tell people like Detroit is like a city that's backed into a corner.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? If shit was to ever break out, they can just shut this whole city down, block it off, and we'd be hit.
Yeah. It's just gotta, you know,
we gotta avoid getting it to that point. You know how we always say America's a melting pot. You know, you break that down. A melting pot is a vessel. That's your limitation within the society. And then the people inside, you know, they're just melting together, right? But in order for that vessel to get hot, there has to be a fire. Well, this fire's been burning too hot, and this motherfucker's about ready to boil over. So we got to turn that flame down, put maybe some water up in there, you know, fluorinated or not, and do this thing right.
Man. See, we got
to it down a little bit,
we got to cut this thing down
a little bit, you know. Breathe a little bit.
That fire's already amped up in the United States. It's already, like you said, it's already boiled over and shit, you know. You know, how you gonna turn the fire down when you got too much wood up under that shit? You know, so it ain't like they got a dial where they can turn it down. They doing it the old-fashioned way, putting the wood up under there, just throwing wood up under there, keeping the flame going, igniting the fire. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, you got all kind of shit going on in the United States that we got to be aware of.
Oh yeah.
That's why when I travel overseas, I always say people be like, "Yeah, I can't wait to get to the United States." I be like, "Stay here, man. Stay where the fuck where you at." I'm trying to get where you at. If I strike the lottery, I'm out of this bitch. I'm on some, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to stay here with fake food and all that shit.
Going on, man?
I've been overseas, man, when I retasted how a watermelon's supposed to taste. These watermelons we eating ain't real watermelons, and peaches tasting like cardboard, man. This shit, we asked a child when I was like, damn, this is a real peach. Because they don't allow all this GMO shit over there yet.
Right, I see.
Because, you know,
my real fruit, man, that shit fucked me up. It fucked my wife up too. Shit ran us up. Like, what the fuck? Because you ain't juice shit flying out your mouth. Wow. Like, damn, man, that shit was juicy. That's a real peach.
You know it.
Shit, we eat nowadays is grown inside, indoors and shit. You know what I'm saying? Got timers on shit. They growing apples like they growing kush.
And so
real tough, man. They growing broccoli, man, like they growing kush.
You know how you take a bite out of an apple when it turns red?
Tomatoes, different names and shit now that they got different names. One's growing them inside like they could. Then when they bring it out of the facility, it's a tomato. It's a hyperglucose broccoli or some shit, a purple one, and then when they come out, it's all the same tomato. They got different sections.
But that's real though. Because Monsanto,
countries, they fighting like a motherfucker because they don't want our imports. United States don't import fruit and shit to other main countries, yo. They don't import their meat.
Right.
We only one of the countries that take all the imports and shit. If you go to other countries, you don't see all them imports from America. They know that shit is contaminated.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want your cereals and shit coming over here with soy all in it.
Right.
I only seen like 2-3 different types of cereals when I was over there. The rest is they shit.
Had 100 brands over here.
Yeah, because they don't, you know what I'm saying? They only going to import so much Kellogg's, cornflakes, Rice Krispies. That's it.
And
they don't want all that other shit with all that DHT and all that shit in it. Like I told people warned them back before, look on your labels on your kids' box and see what the fuck is BHT.
Yeah. What is that?
See what I think is another some HT that they use as a preserve for freshness.
Preservative. Wow. Yeah. They're pickling you so
that shit is gasoline.
The coloring they use for the
coloring, you know what I'm saying? Different shit. They got coloring, I think, in one of these countries to where the people using so much fucked up color to where it's coloring the goddamn rivers. They washing the color out in the goddamn rivers. Fucking this shit up over, I think it's in India. Fuck the river up. The river is like purple or some shit. They can't even bathe in it.
They look like a Oompa Loompa when they get out.
Yeah, because they done put so much colors and dumping in the shit to where they rivers is fucked up. And then they got motherfuckers shitting all in the rivers. They got one river motherfuckers shitting all in it. So it's fucked up.
Well, we got a river like that.
Some of these third world countries.
Yeah, it's basically a toilet just right through the city.
So, you know, that's what they doing here in the United States. That's how I know we are third world countries, because shit, we dumping shit all in our shit.
Hey, I take offense to that. We are not a third world country. I take offense to that, sir. I take offense.
And we got fucked up roads, potholes, man, that you can bathe in.
Fake news.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
A lot of shit out here fucked up.
Yeah.
A lot of shit.
Yeah, I have to agree. You know, you're right. But that's all, once again, by design. See, look, the thing we got to watch for when the economic thing hits, where, you know, $21 trillion in debt, when the economic collapse hits, that's when the far right are going to explode, you know, and that's when, unfortunately, places like Detroit there, man, that sounds like Auschwitz 2.0. Railroad tracks one way, and then they'll dump your ashes into the sea. They'll straight up shake and bake. You know, so we got to put this in the consciousness of the people and get us thinking, okay, now how the hell can I get out? Can I get out today? Can I get out? Because this shit's coming down, man. It's coming down. There's no stopping it. I'm sorry. I wish I could say there was a rainbow. No. There's another Hitler guy is on his way, and you know what's for dinner. I ain't talking about beef. It's going to be dark meat. Yes, sir. So you better wake up. You're a prisoner of war, young man and woman. It is what it is. Until you're truly liberated, you better act and think accordingly.
Y'all better get on the same page, because
this is deep, man. Like, I would like to thank y'all for coming on today, man. Like we just you know what I'm saying, it felt like we was on
knowledge,
10, 15 minutes, but it's been damn near an hour. So shit, man, I would like to thank y'all, man, for y'all time, man, and coming on the show.
Hey, it's been our pleasure.
I want to thank y'all too, man, for spreading the word, man. Like you say, I hope people are taking the message. Like you said, wake up.
Yeah,
it's coming, man. So hey, I'm damn sure following your lead on that one, my brothers. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks for having us,
man. So tell the people how they can get in touch with y'all, where they can find y'all at once again. You know what I'm saying? And you know,
you can find us on YouTube at Dimebag TV. You can see the other morning show and Random Bullshit and Special Report, or you can go over to True Powers Minds on YouTube and catch Special Report, the other morning show, and you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
I see where but it's True Power is mine. The way you say it's like you're saying mine, but it is mine. It's all one word. True Power is mine, and it's yours too, as long as you open your mind.
All right, brothers. We'd like to thank y'all for coming on, man. Like I said, man. I can follow Dimebag TV. True Power is mine. What do you say? True Mind?
See, I
call you True Mind. That's what I call
It's True Power is mine.
Okay, True Power is mine.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? These brothers is very informative, man. They come with some deep shit, man. And they had some some guests on their show, Mark from Anaheim, which, you know, so I was a follower of him, man. He come with some deep shit, man. He, you know what I'm saying, he has a in-depth background, man. The shit he used to say, man. I'm mad he ain't on the show. You haven't talked to Mark?
I still talk to Mark on the side note, you know, but once again, you know, you gotta understand with Mark, he is not here to showboat himself, man. He is such a knowledgeable man. He wants people to get his knowledge, but research it. And what people are failing to do is actually research it. They just
I have researched it. People, if y'all don't know what we're talking about Mark from Anaheim. So if you ever want to go on YouTube or research some of his old videos and listen to him, he used to talk with Dick Gregory. My one guy, what is his name?
Carl Nelson.
Carl Nelson. You know, Carl Nelson is a legend in the radio game, man. I think he interviewed Nelson Mandela when he got out of prison, man.
First one, too.
You know, so the man has interviewed with legends, man, that came from very informative shit to where the elders have bowed down and say, this man know his shit. And you had a lot of naysayers out there to try to dog him out. So if y'all can ever, people out there, you know what I'm saying?
I do got some news,
old videos, Mark from Anaheim, who we talking about, they used to be on Dimebag and the TV show. You know what I'm saying? The man, he was coming on there. That's how I got up on y'all, because I was following him, and y'all had him on there. What, 2 or 3 times, right?
Total 6 times.
6 times, and you had the judge on there.
Yeah, Judge Joe.
Judge Joe.
Judge Joe Brown.
Yeah, Judge Joe, too, man. You don't even know. He's deep, too, man. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Judge Joe, man, is a deep brother, man. Coming out of the civil rights era and all that shit. He got a lot of stories, man. I was like, damn, I didn't even know he was on that shit.
We have Brother Ron from We All Be TV. You know, that brother,
Ron.
he is on it with the research. You know, that's what we also strive to do. Is we should know these things as far as rhetoric and propaganda points, but we also should know these things as far as truly academic and scholarship points as well. You know, because if you don't know the past, you're just a fool that's going to be propagandized in the present.
Man, so, you know what I'm saying, like, man, y'all deep. We like to, whenever y'all want to come on the show, man, hit me up, man. We can always work you into the schedule, man, because, shit, we always like to have an extension in other states and shit.
Yes.
And
we got to make
going on and, you know, other cities
and
and shit and work together, you know what I'm saying, to get this information out. Because, shit, all outlets need to work, especially black media need to work together, you know what I'm saying, as a collective so we can get this shit, you know what I'm saying, get on code. You know, so we got to get on code with each other. We can't just be thinking, oh, I'm doing my shit over here. We got to work together to get this information because a person in St. Louis might get some information from us. They might not know, and vice versa.
Right.
And then, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I always urge my black people, especially in media, to work together with other people in different states, different cities. So, you know what I'm saying, to get your points across.
Yeah, keep everybody up on game, you know.
You know, I mean, even when I had my interview with Professor Griff, you know, from Public Enemy, I'm sure your audience is aware of him. You know.
Yeah, we're aware. He was on 7 Mile Radio, Mark, right? Yeah. So we, you know, he done had him on here before.
Yeah, and we gotta keep in mind these brothers. You know, unfortunately, they're in time stream like us all. You know, we gotta take their wisdom and willing to share with us. And we can't be stingy with it. You got to share it with our young people. I cannot stress that enough. It's not just enough for you to have the knowledge, but you need to share it with the young men and women.
Because they are the future.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Time is up, man. We got, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm going to holler at y'all. I'd like to thank y'all for coming on. T, you got anything else?
Thank y'all, too, man.
Oh, we appreciate it. Thank y'all.
All right.
Yeah, one love, man. We'd like to thank y'all, True Talk Nation, man, for coming on there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we'll be hollering at y'all, brothers. That's this Dimebag TV, people.
Keep up the good work, fellas.
Peace, we out.
And that was the interview we did Sunday on Truth Talk on 7 Mile Radio.